Hey everybody, and welcome to Dude's Brunch, the late night morning talk show where each week we talk about 4 things from pop and internet culture and what we had for breakfast that morning. With me, as always, back home in Cincinnati, Ohio, Tyler Reed. What did you have for brunch today?
I like how you ask us what we have for breakfast when it's called Dude's Brunch.
Did I really?
Anyway, so for brunch...
It's been a month since we recorded this show, so
okay, baby,
I'm rusty.
I had the usual for my Sundays now. Catherine and I have been making pancakes and sausage and bacon and whatever. I make little pancake sandwiches with the sausage. It's like a little hot dog. There you go.
That's legit.
Mm-hmm.
Up north in Akron, Ohio, Sean Evans, how are you? What'd you have for brunch today?
I'm good. I went with my staple, black coffee. God, I'm so boring. I had to go to work this morning, like every Sunday morning, so...
Just poured some black coffee into your face and slung
basically,
some suits.
Basically.
I'm a little concerned about the repercussions of pouring hot boiling coffee onto your face. Sean, are you
Not
right?
onto, but into.
Well, once we get to New Year's resolutions, I can tell you why it's been a little bit different, but...
And our guest this week, joining us from the 8-Bit Bourbon podcast and from Albany, New York, Adam Baynard. How are you? What'd you have for brunch today?
I had a healthy Taco Bell and a couple beers. It was nice.
That is primo brunch, sir.
Yeah, it was the sriracha chicken crunch wrap and
good choice.
And hot. It was like spicy beef or hot beef and cheese crunch wrap. It's pretty good.
The spicy beef and cheese?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the name of it.
I mean, I've had those things like 3 times since they've come back out.
They're good. It's like $1 a piece. Can't
That's
go wrong.
what I mean. It's like, God.
Yeah, and a couple beers.
Starting early?
Can I ask you guys a quick question?
Yeah.
Are you guys sports fans? Because you guys are all from Ohio, right? How did yesterday treat you guys?
We talked about this just before you came on.
Yeah, so listeners, as we record this, last night was the 2016 Bengals Steelers game. Adam, to put it in perspective, my mom, who is like this little innocent woman, called me this morning and she was like, I just did not understand that game tonight. They made asses of themselves in front of everyone.
Okay, that was something special. I've never seen anything like that.
No.
I was like, they have a minute left. How can they mess it up? They got this.
I was telling some of my coworkers today that everybody in Cleveland thinks that they have this big beef with the Browns, or that they had the big beef with the Steelers. Like, oh yeah, they're Pittsburgh, blah blah blah. I told them, I was like, no, I don't think you guys understand like how much Cincinnati despises the Steelers. Like, it's just almost uncomparable.
Yeah, you guys just can't catch a break. Sucks.
The real question is, how many of our players are going to end up in jail over this? Because it seems like the Bengals go from wearing orange and black jerseys to orange jumpsuits real quick.
Yeah, I said last night I would not want to run into that Perfect guy or Pac-Man Jones out in public at night, because they probably went out and just destroyed everything they came in contact with.
Oh, I'm sure.
God, that was just sad.
It was crazy.
Was terrible.
As a person who doesn't care about either teams, I thought it was hilarious. But I'm sorry. I'm sorry for you guys.
Well, no, I'm right there with you. I never really cared about football when I lived in Cincinnati or Ohio, and I recently moved to Atlanta, Georgia, so I really don't care. I'm just like, all right, that's fine. The Falcons are here, and they're not very good, and the Braves are here, and they're awful. So, you know.
But the Hawks are there, and they're actually pretty decent.
This is true. This is true. So, for brunch this morning, I actually didn't know that had even happened, so I woke up feeling great, and I had a bowl of Cinnamon Life and some coffee, and everything was wonderful, and then my parents called, and they were like, is it snowing where you are? Did you see the Bengals game? Everything is awful. And I'm like, not my problem.
Yeah, how's that weather down there, Taylor?
It's cold here too. It was a high of 39 Fahrenheit today, and it's like 24 out there right now, so.
As our Southern State correspondent, you have to keep us updated on how different the world is.
The key difference is that instead of snow, they just get ice. They get like sheets and sheets of ice. So that's going to be great in Atlanta traffic. I'm so excited. All right, well, as usual, we have 4 topics from the internet and pop culture this week, and we're going to start with Sean, who has a very topical topic, talking about one of our cultural greats who unfortunately left us recently. Sean, take it away.
So I don't know if you guys, I know most probably, sorry, Adam, I don't know if you were a big fan of Motorhead and you knew who Lemmy Kilmister was. He was like their guitar player. Do you know Motorhead at all?
Singer.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know Motorhead.
Okay, cool. So it's like you don't have to do a lot of backstory here. But yeah, he died over Christmas or like in late December. And also, incidentally, this happens to coincide with the recent discovery of 4 new elements on the periodic table. So there was a petition floating around the internet this week asking people to sign it to name a new heavy metal after one of rock's most heavy metalist people. And I just kind of want to talk about this. I thought it was kind of interesting, kind of funny that it was going on. So I posted a couple articles. They'll be in the bottom of the show notes, and you can look them up on our website. But so my first question was, did you guys even hear about Lemmy's death? Because I didn't even know until I saw this article.
I did, but only because I have a few friends who are really into metal, and so there were lots of obituaries in my Facebook and Twitter feeds.
Same.
Yeah, I saw it on Facebook.
Okay.
Day one.
I didn't even know. So I just thought it was weird. I wasn't sure if I was just out of the loop or what was going on.
It's okay, Sean. You live in the woods. We've established this.
I know. My audiobook is taking up all of my time. So I guess my next question is, should we take this proposal seriously, or is it just for a good laugh?
Why not?
My thoughts exactly.
Explain.
Go ahead,
Who
Tyler.
cares?
Scientists care.
We name stuff after stupid shit all the time. There's like stuff named after Pokemon and like
The elements
probably
on the
like
table.
it's all made up. Language. I mean, the fact that we're having a conversation right now is all just words we disagree upon have meaning. So it's not like it actually all matters. Who cares?
That is some deep nihilistic shit right there, Tyler. Wow.
If I had to voice my opinion, I would say no. Definitely not.
Oh yeah? Why?
Because Motorhead only had one good song, Ace of Spades, and
Here
nobody.
we go.
If you ask 5 people on the street, name 2 Motorhead songs, they couldn't do it. No way you could.
Like a virgin. That was a good.
Lemmy's known for that big ass mole and Ace of Spades. That's it. Like, no disrespect to the guy. I think he's a cool looking
Those
dude.
mutton
But
chops, though.
yeah, I mean his look in that one song, that was it. And I only know Ace of Spades because it was the intro song to Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3.
I'm with Adam here. I agree with his reasons totally. Maybe
There's got to be somebody better that
Right.
died.
Do you just want it to be a Lennon, like with John Lennon? Is that
no,
big
no,
enough?
I don't want it to be any musician. I would rather
No
it be
musician at all.
no. I'd rather it be like Tesla or somebody like that, like somebody that actually like contributed whole-handedly to science.
What
Yeah,
about
you-
Jesus?
He doesn't really have that cool of a name either to make an element. Like Tesla would be an awesome one.
Yeah, Teslium. That's pretty damn awesome.
I think
That sounds like a metal. That sounds like a metal band
Or,
name
like,
anyway.
Elon Musk would be a cool one. Have like an
Oh, yeah.
Elon
Ooh,
thing.
Elonium.
That'd be cool.
I
Yeah.
feel like there is a Tesla element already.
There might be.
That sounds like a thing that exists.
Mhm.
I'm with Tyler though. Like, there are definitely cooler people we could name it after, but at the same time, like, why not? No, these are things that kids in chemistry classes in high schools know they don't even have to learn. Like, you need to know what hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, and like phosphorus and like really basic stuff are. You're never gonna need those heavy metal elements. So
I'm just saying the people that were probably at the county fairs that he was playing at probably don't know what the periodic table is anyway, so what does it matter?
I see how this
Shots
show's gonna
fired.
go.
And with that, I think it's time to move to the next question. Because I think we kind of got at this already, but there was, in one of the articles, it said that Lemmy never really considered himself to be rock and roll. Or he never really considered himself to be heavy metal. He considered himself to be rock and roll. So do you think that, like, naming a heavy metal after him would be even more inappropriate because of that?
Sure, you got me.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't think Motorhead. I don't think a lot of the bands in that time period were heavy metal. Like, but I don't think Black Sabbath, early Black Sabbath, was very heavy metal. Like Iron Maiden wasn't that heavy metal. Motorhead and Judas Priest, I don't think they were that crazy.
It's power metal, but that's okay.
Like Iron Maiden's one of my all-time favorite bands. I wouldn't consider them. I wouldn't consider myself a metal guy.
I guess, I don't know. I'm not a big fan. Like, I use subgenres when I'm talking to people, but particularly in the metal world, I just could not care any more or less about, like, grime is hip-hop, sorry, sludge versus, like, you know, new metal or whatever. Like, it's metal, it's all metal, I don't really care. So, this
categorical write-off of all of metal. All right.
I just think this argument isn't, like, relevant to this conversation. Like, I don't know. His music is heavy. They want to name a heavy element after him. Okay. I'm fine with that. Whatever.
I guess I'm just like with the 90% of the world that only know the one Motorhead song. I don't think he's very heavy metal. Ace of Spades isn't a heavy metal song. It's like more of like...
We get it.
Like
You're disruptive. We got it. Well, we finally found someone that's more disruptive than me.
This dynamic is so fantastic.
This is gonna be good. All right.
Yeah.
We got meta there for a second.
So, my last question, then we can move on promptly, is what other bands might make better elemental names?
Maroon 5.
There you go.
Smash Mouth. I don't know.
Honestly, just because it's ridiculous, I want Badfinger to get an element. I don't really like Badfinger. I just think it would be a cool element name.
I don't think like Black Flag should have a.
There you go.
I think Henry Rollins would get pissed about that. It would be too much like Selling Out. The periodic table is not punk enough for Henry Rollins.
Is that how Henry Rollins really feels? I don't know.
It's hard to say how Henry Rollins really feels.
Henry Rollins has a spoken word band. I don't know what like. I don't think.
Maybe a better question that would be funnier is there a band that would make a horrible element name?
Motorhead.
I mean, to be fair,
I don't know.
those are two like already like pre-existing words that kind of. Other than I know you hate Motorhead. Clearly,
Yeah, I don't hate him. I'm just kidding.
Any band with a sentence for a name. So the world is a beautiful place, and I'm no longer to die, or I'm no longer afraid to die. The number 12 looks like you. I wrestled a bear once.
LCD Soundsystem.
Yeah, I could. That's probably a pretty bad element name.
I was thinking like any I almost said hair metal, but that's not it. Maybe like 80s pop. You know,
Duranium.
Yeah, Duranium, or like Europe.
That
Wham.
sounds fake.
Whammium.
Oh, B-52 EM. That would be bad.
All right, Sean, I have a bonus question.
All right.
Okay, so I saw a petition because apparently this is everyone wanted to have a petition for Lemmy to rename Whiskey and Coke a Lemmy, which I feel like is like, apparently he likes whiskey. I don't fucking know, but I feel
a song called Whiskey and Coke.
Right. I feel like that's a much more appropriate.
Coke like the drink, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
I think that's a little more pointed, a little bit better fit for.
All right. Why don't we just call it that? You don't have to like rename it. Just start calling it that. Go to the bar and say like, I want a Lemmy on the rocks.
Right.
That actually sounds pretty damn metal.
Well, there you have it. I'm curious. People send in tweets of band names as elements, and maybe we'll pick the best one and read it on next week's show. because those are great.
And with that, I'm done.
All right, so our next topic this week comes from Adam. Adam, you wanted to talk about virtual reality?
I sure do. All right, so all my friends are pretty much nerds, so I don't really get ever in my podcast is pretty much people like me, so I don't get a real feel of how everybody sees VR or if they even know what VR is. But earlier this week, Oculus Rift was announced for pre-order for $600, which is crazy. That's a lot of money for people to spend. And I just want to know, do we care about VR? Do we want virtual reality headsets in our homes?
It's a good question.
So, I don't know if you guys read Bloom County. Are you guys familiar with that comic strip?
Mm-mm.
It was around in the 80s. It was like kind of a political cartoon, and it's come back online, like on Twitter and Facebook recently. And this whole week has been about VR. And it's like this kid his parents keep telling him to do his chores, and he's like, I already did them in the virtual world, Mom and Dad, and now I'm building a replica of the Taj Mahal out of digital Legos. And they're like, but you could just do that with regular Legos. That's how I feel about VR. Like,
Wow.
you could do a lot of that stuff in real life. I mean, some of it you can't, but all the stuff I've seen so far, I'm not impressed enough with to spend $600 on.
I'm gonna take the opposite approach to Taylor's interaction with that one and say that just like a specification question here. Do you have to have, in order to have like an Oculus headset, do you have to have, what gaming system do you have to have? Do you have to have one?
You have to have a decent PC.
Okay, so you have to have, it's not a, okay.
Yeah, on their pre-order website, there's a program you can download. It'll tell you if your PC is strong enough to run the Oculus.
Probably not.
Yeah, I have a Mac, so I wasn't able to do it, but I'd be interested to see what
none of us could run it.
What the spec requirements would be. Yeah, and that's an additional investment. If
I was going to say, how much do you have to drop to get a computer that can run this stuff?
I have no idea. People were saying the whole bundle could cost you up to $1,500.
Oh,
and that's with like a lower end computer. If you really just go for the specs, try to save money, probably not buy a monitor.
Oh my God.
Stuff like that.
Well, that said, I'm still excited about it. I think it'd be really cool to see. It would be cool to watch movies in that. That's why I see it. I like the idea of playing games in it, but I think it would be a lot more. I'm into movies more, so I won't give up on that. I read too this week that Nokia just put out a camera that can film in VR, and it's like $60,000 just to have the camera, but it has like 360 range and everything like that. So it's like, that would be cool. I'd like to see that.
Well, the good news, Sean, is that I believe with the early VR stuff, it's going to probably feel like a walking movie anyway, because I feel like that's kind of like, kind of the angle that they kind of are going at. It's for like a more cinematic experience, at least for some of them. I don't know, so you might fit right in,
Yeah, everything seems like it's going to be right on rails. You're not going to be doing much. It's just going to be an experience to get you into that world. Yeah, I honestly, I'm a big gamer, but I don't know what to think about VR. Like, I think some of it can be cool. I've never personally tried it. I'm interested to see what the PlayStation VR is priced at and how that is going to come out and what games will come with it. But I don't know, because I'm not going to go to GameStop and put some sweaty, nasty VR on my head to try it out. So it's really like you have to buy it to try it, pretty much, or know somebody that is willing to buy it to try it.
That is a really great point.
Yeah,
because these things are going to be disgusting. Like, unless there's a way to like keep them clean. I don't want to strap something like that on my head that other people have. And I'm not like a germaphobe, but that's just like you're breathing it. You're breathing. It's like putting on like a snort or like a scuba mask. Like right after somebody did, and they're like snotting in it, and it's just nasty.
It's like walking into a card shop, right? I gotcha. You gotta go play some Magic the Gathering, right? But no, I think they're trying to incorporate some like third person perspective stuff. I was listening to a podcast. They were talking about VR, and they said they're, I guess, working on third person stuff, which I think is interesting. I'd like to see that. But as someone that plays like digital card games, strategy games, 2D platformers, I'm kind of like, I don't think this is for me.
Yeah.
At least not right now. But I'm certainly interested in it as like pushing the medium forward. I don't think I'll ever probably get the games that I want, like a tactics game on like a VR system, but that's fine.
You mean they're not going to make a VR version of Hearthstone?
I mean, they would just for the fucking hell of it. They're not going to do it like, I don't know. I don't think that would happen.
I mean, that would be the type of game, in my opinion, that would be cool with VR. Like if I could put on a headset and like, I don't know, stretch out my hands, place my cards down. I mean, I don't want to play like a Halo or like you were saying, third person games. I don't want to play Uncharted 4 with a VR headset and control the camera with my head. I mean, that's a lot of work.
Well, then they also have like those like sort of like what's the fuck they're called, the treadmills.
Yeah,
like,
the treadmill things
kind
are
of going
crazy.
like 360. You know, I mean that's also probably a couple $100 extra you got to throw into your house.
A couple $100.
Oh
I think that thing that costs.
yeah.
I mean, I'm
$200.
like ballparking.
Have you seen how much a regular treadmill costs?
Jesus, I don't fucking know. Get off my- I
Tyler
can
doesn't
on a
work
treadmill.
out.
I mean, would you really want to give up the experience of sitting down and relaxing for running around your room to play Call of Duty on a treadmill? I don't know. It's just, that seems like weird to me. Something
Future kids might.
like I don't want. That's the thing. Like I feel like the old man. I do not want the VR to replace the way I play games now.
Yeah,
I don't want Call of Duty on a Oculus Rift.
I'm with you on that. I have a friend who's doing some PhD research into how our brains interact with our bodies and like our surroundings, and they do a lot of stuff with the Oculus in this big circular room with like a seamless circular wall. And he said like the first time you do it, it's so disorienting that you actually will like walk into the physical wall of the room if the simulation is programmed wrong, because you just don't know any better. And I don't know, that just messes with my head too much. I don't think I'm ready for that.
It does, because I mean we're all close to the same age. I feel like we've seen VR in movies and like media forever. Like Jurassic Park had VR when they're combining the dino DNA, and like we've never actually seen it in homes, and now it's 2016. It's finally coming. And it's just really weird, and I don't know what to expect. It's going to be interesting because people are complaining about the price already, and like the hardcore gamers, that's who they're going for. The people that are willing to spend $600,
Right.
They're going to get it. But is that enough to sustain a business, or is it going to die like 3D TVs died immediately?
That's an interesting point. One of the articles that I did research on when I was looking at this topic was like VR versus 3D television, and they were talking about how like these guys kind of said like VR is going to kill 3D television. Like if you have one of those, you might as well just go throw it in the trash can. Because it's so, you have to sit at a certain angle. There's all this other stuff that you just can't get right with it. And VR is like right there perfectly in your eyes, with the exception that it makes you disoriented. But they said VR makes people just as disoriented as it does having a 3D television. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think a lot of that killed 3D TV was the peripherals you had to have. The content wasn't there.
Right.
There was multiple forms of the content. There's going to be 3 different VR headsets. There's the HTC Vive that's with Valve, it's PlayStation VR, and then there's the Oculus Rift. And we don't know if the content will go from each one. So there can be an awesome game on the PlayStation VR that you're not going to be able to get on Oculus or the HTC Vive. So you don't know what to buy. And if there's a lack of content in it, you're not going to buy it. You're not going to play it, and it's not going to succeed, whether it's cool or not.
Well, and knowing the companies that we're working with here, HTC, Facebook, and what's the third one? Sorry, Sony.
Sony.
Yeah, those 3 are not going to play nicely.
No.
I mean, of the 3 of them, Facebook is probably the friendliest to other companies, and that's saying a lot.
Yeah, and none of the companies, or all the companies, are big enough they don't need to be friendly to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Valve is probably the biggest in the world for video games with Steam.
Mm-hmm.
They don't need that. Everybody needs Steam. Valve doesn't need everybody. So
That you just summed up Gabe Newell's whole life
yeah,
in that one sentence.
It's true. If we needed them, or if they needed us, we'd have Half-Life 3.
True facts.
But they don't, so we don't. Yeah, so I guess the last thing I'll say, because you want to keep this around 15 minutes, I just want to know, if it wasn't for games, what would you use VR for? Like, I know that on YouTube there are some 360 video content up, like Achievement Hunters, Rooster Teeth's Achievement Hunters, they do 360 videos. They built like a stand of GoPros to record everything they do, and you can interact with that. If you have like the Google Cardboard, you can do it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and there are other channels that allow you. Like, there's a lot of like I don't know if it's Boeing, but people that make like fighter jets and airplanes, they put cockpit views so you can look around the plane as it's flying, and they do like moves and stuff, and you can click around. So I don't know if there's anything besides gaming you guys would be interested in VR for.
Well, I would say a game I would like to see would be the gun games that like you have in like arcades, like the Jurassic Parks, like the Time Crisis and all that stuff. Because I feel like that would work. I don't know how much hand motion you can do with VR, but that feels like it would feel pretty nice. At least maybe with a little peripheral. It might be cheaper to buy the arcade cabinet. But
this is gonna sound like a lame answer, but I really want to see like a Google Street View type thing. Not necessarily a Google product, but I use Street View all the time to like find places that I'm going and make sure I'm going to the right building. I would love to use VR to like, plan a vacation or something like that and like look around at the different places before I decide to book a trip or something. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm most forward looking to films being done in virtual reality. I don't know if that I could say virtual reality as much as it would be like immersive viewing. But I don't know. I think it would be interesting to use these from an R&D standpoint to be able to like 3D model where you're totally immersed in what you're doing. I'm thinking about designing things. Like being like it almost looks like if you had something on your head, but in Iron Man where he's building the Iron Man suit and he's kind of like throwing parts out and stuff like that, but you could actually do that like with a headset on.
So what you're talking about, have you ever heard of the Microsoft HoloLens? Because that's exactly what that is.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, so that's really cool.
I like that idea for like architecture though.
Yeah.
Sean, like imagine being able to walk through the floor plan of your building before you build it. That would be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I should have put the link. There's a cool link for Microsoft HoloLens. They show it in a business world, and that's exactly what they're doing. It's really cool. Yeah, I was going to say, like, education. It'd be cool, like, if I was in a classroom when you're a little kid, school can't afford to take you to museums or something. There's a way to put on a headset and go through a museum or go underwater, go in the ocean, or go to, like, a zoo or something. Something you'll never get to. Say you live out in the middle of nowhere, you'd never get to experience.
Right.
That'd be cool. And I want to shoot things in video games, but
yeah, but noble ambitions.
Yeah, and I'm not afraid to watch a porn in it. You gotta see what because they're going to do it.
I've watched the things of like people's reactions to doing VR porn, and every single person is weirded out by it.
Oh, I'm sure it's crazy, but that's why you got to watch it. You got to try it.
They're like,
once.
This is not okay. I am not into this. There is something wrong here. I don't know what it is. Like, they don't show what's on the screen in front of them, obviously, because it's on YouTube. But
maybe it like exposes your inner taboos or something like that. You can't escape it anymore.
I don't know.
The bounds between you and however you've rationalized whatever you're doing, and it's no longer there. That'd be interesting to talk about.
That's a graduate thesis right there.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler, any final thoughts on VR from you?
No.
All right. Well, my topic this week is some exciting news from the world of music. We're actually all very topical this week. So there was a massive blog post that went out this week from James Murphy, frontman and I guess we'll call him impresario of LCD Soundsystem and DFA Records. And he basically said that even though they broke up extremely publicly, LCD Soundsystem has recorded a new album, or is recording a new album, and they're going to tour, and they're headlining Coachella. And it's been this like big thing in the music press of, is he betraying the fans that he told he was ending the project? And there's a lot going on. So just to establish a baseline, I had the guys on the show watch at least part of Shut Up and Play the Hits, which is the documentary about the end of LCD Soundsystem. And just to get baseline feelings, had you guys heard of and did you care about LCD Soundsystem before this documentary?
Yeah, I would say like I don't know why, but it was, I don't know, it had been like 5 years ago, maybe less. I was at like a Target or something, and I just wanted to buy music, and they had like all these CDs on sale, and this one CD caught my eye. It was This Is Happening by LCD Soundsystem, and the album caught my eye because it looked like one of the guys from Blink-182 was dancing on the cover. So I was like, what the hell is this? And I grabbed it. It was like $5, and I played it. I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And yeah, that's how I heard about him. And then I went back, started listening to more of their stuff. So I really got into him. And then, like, shortly after that, they broke up. I think it was like 5 years ago. It was a while ago.
Yeah, it was 4 or 5 that they ended. Sean?
So yeah, I do like them.
What were your guys' baselines on LCD Soundsystem?
I have heard of the name LCD Soundsystem. That was about it. I saw their documentary on Netflix, and it was like LCD Soundsystem, blah, blah, blah. And I never got around to watching it.
Tyler?
The only time I've ever purposely listened to them was when Daft Punk is playing at my house was a thing. And so I honestly hadn't listened to anything since then. And watching this documentary, I was like, oh, I like almost all these songs better than that song specifically. So I'm like, maybe I should give them a listen.
But you have to set them up.
Right.
You have to set them up.
Right. Set them up.
So I got into LCD Soundsystem, much like Adam, like right before they broke up. It was my freshman year of college, and it's kind of like that time when people seem to get into that band. I don't know why, and so I got really, really into them, and then I heard that they were ending, and the documentary came out, and we couldn't see it in the small town where I went to college, and it was like probably a good 2 years before me and a guy from my freshman dorm sat down on Halloween and just watched the documentary together and had like intense feelings about it because it's quite sad. And so basically the story of the documentary is that James Murphy is like in his 40s and he's been in bands forever. This is the first one that really became successful. And he just kind of decides that he wants to have a normal life. He's tired of touring and he wants to like maybe have kids and settle down. And so he announces that they're going to do 2 shows at Madison Square Garden and then they're just going to stop. And that will be the end. And so the documentary is footage from the concert and then footage from the day immediately afterwards. And like his hangover and how he deals with like selling off all their equipment and meeting up with the old band members for dinner and like just saying goodbye to this chapter in his life. So knowing that this happened so publicly and so like almost like a relationship breakup, how do you guys feel about a band just quitting like that, saying we're just not going to do it anymore?
I don't know. Some of that stuff that you just said bothers me because, like, it's not public unless they want it to be public. So he wanted it to be public. So it's like, how sad can he be if he's just going out there and making people know about this? You know, they could have went away and nobody would ever say anything. Mm-hmm. Bands do that. I remember when they made the announcement for their last 2 shows, like, StubHub went crazy, bought all the tickets. Like, people on StubHub bought tickets. Didn't they cancel the original show? And, like, they did, like, some secret show. They were going to do, like, some secret show in, like, a train station or something like that.
Yeah, so they had... Something happened where StubHub, like, their servers crashed or got hacked or something the day that the tickets went on sale. And so a bunch of people lost their tickets. And then when the servers went back up, they sold all of the tickets again. And so the band put on 2 smaller shows in Brooklyn for the people who lost tickets to the original Madison Square Garden show.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I understand that yeah, the guy's going through something. But I just have a hard time like feeling any kind of like sadness for a guy that's selling out playing two sold out shows at Madison Square Garden. Like, how bad is his life? You know, like he can do whatever he wants. You know, he's got the world in front of him. And if he didn't want the band to stop, he wouldn't have stopped it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with Adam. I think that calling a hiatus on it is might have been a little bit premature, as we're seeing now. Because there are lots of bands that kind of just, like maybe they don't break up, maybe they don't quit, but they go and they, fulfill the urges that are going to fulfill them inside. I don't know. There's a better way to say that. And, they still go out there and do their thing. And so, I don't know. I'm mixed about this whole thing.
I think the timeline is important. When was their last show? Was it 2012?
Yes, 2012.
And so in 2015, 2016, they decide they're going to make music again?
So Christmas Day 2015, they released their first new song since the breakup.
Okay.
But there had been rumors before that. And so basically right after New Year's, I think it was the 8th, James Murphy came out and said, yes, we made a song on Christmas that was really us, and we're going to come back.
I mean, you can't really... I feel like at some point or another, we've all said something that was probably a little drastic that we probably wanted to take back. And I don't know. I just feel like... I mean, they probably at the time, he felt like that was what he wanted to fucking do. He was like, I'm done doing this. I mean, I don't think we can fault him. I mean, yeah, it's like turbo shitty that, like, he said in his article that, like, there's some people that made it, like, almost like their life goal to see this last show, and they made, like, such a big deal about it, and then they're like, oh, surprise, we're coming back. It's like...
Yeah, I guess I understand what I would say it wouldn't be a big thing. Like, I wouldn't have any ill feelings if they just didn't say the band was over. If they were just saying, hey, this is going to be our last thing for a while, make the documentary, have the 2 shows, and that's awesome. It's a good, like, farewell to your fans. But don't say your band's over forever and then do this and then be like, oh, 4 years later we got a new song for you guys. Because it takes something away from the moment of the people that went to Madison Square Garden, got to see them the last time. Because at that time, it's like, their band is going away forever, and he totally took that away from them. Whether that means anything to anybody, but I don't know.
Yeah, I had you guys watch
that night. Still meant something to those people in that crowd, or the people in the crowd, just as much as it meant to him.
So before we started the show, I had you guys watch the last number, and it really drives that point home. Like, he sings the first couple of lyrics of "New York, I Love You," and then he stops and looks at the keyboard player, and he's like, this is the last time I get to pause for an interminable amount of time in the middle of this song. Like, he totally knows that this is ending, and, like, there's an intense finality to it, and people are, like, weeping in the audience. And as a person who watched this documentary, I'm like, wow, this is really great, and this is really emotional. As a fan, I'm kind of like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel a little bit cheated. At the same time, I love this band, so...
Just cheapens it a little bit. There's another band that is doing the exact same thing. The Grateful Dead over the summer, they had their farewell, their final show or shows. It was in Chicago. It was a huge thing, and they're still touring just as like Dead and Company. All they did was change their name. They're still playing the same songs. They just changed their name. They're the Dead and Company. They have guests in each city they go to, but it's the same freaking thing. It's like, well, why? Why would you do that to your fans? You're not over. So don't say you are.
Yeah, and I mean, how many farewell tours have the Rolling Stones done?
Yeah, it's just weird.
I mean, it's kind of like what Stephen Colbert said in the documentary, that he was like, well, if you're in a rock band, you either die of overdosing, you like do like reunion tours forever, or I forget what the other one is. But it's like, I mean, I think I give them more credit for being like, okay, we're done. 2 years later, okay, we made like a mistake. I feel like there's a little bit more like genuinity to that feeling. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I don't think there's anything malicious in that they did. I don't think they tried to hurt anybody. And I mean, it happens. If they want to make more music, that's awesome. Go for it.
Yeah, that was the piece of his article that I really appreciated, was he says, I wanted to make this music, and these are the musicians I wanted to make it with. So we either call it LCD Soundsystem, we release it as a James Murphy solo record, which is shitty, or we make a new band with a new name but all the same people, which is even shittier.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, when you frame it like that, I guess it makes sense.
With like the way social media is nowadays and how everybody's connected, and we're in a weird way we're connected to these. We're only a keystroke away from sending James Murphy a message, a good message or a bad message. He was in a situation where they couldn't win. If they would have went on a hiatus, people would harass him every day for new music. If he put out solo stuff, he would get compared to LCD Soundsystem. People say it wasn't as good. If he put LCD Soundsystem name on it, people would hate him for saying he was on a hiatus. Or and we're talking about it now. So it's really like they're all in impossible situations. Like the band Radiohead, they didn't break up, but they haven't put music out in forever. Tom York will go off and do his own thing, and people will hate it and compare it to Radiohead.
Oh, yeah.
And ask where Radiohead music is, and then you'll hear rumors of them recording, and then 4 years later, and there's still no album. So, and they get harassed all the time, and that's got to suck. They can't win, and maybe him just saying we're done gave him a break. Maybe he never got harassed for music.
Mm-hmm.
Because what I'm trying to say is, people are shitty, and people feel like they're owed everything. And I guess he doesn't really owe us anything, but we kind of feel like he does.
Maybe this is the most genius move ever.
Yeah.
Maybe this is, oh, God. And now I'm going to have to listen to this band because he's like a mad genius.
It's a good way to get talked about. It's a good way for a mediocre band to get talked about, especially with the Guns N' Roses news coming out in the last couple of weeks.
Can you inform the listeners who may not be Guns N' Roses fans?
Oh, I guess at the same event, which LCD Soundsystem is playing at, Slash and Axl Rose are playing together at Coachella. I don't know if the other bands are playing, or other guys in the band are there.
2 months ago, if you had told me that, I would want Coachella tickets, I would have laughed at you in the face. Coachella, for real? But now, with the Guns N' Roses thing and the LCD Soundsystem thing, I'm like, I almost want to go to Coachella.
Yeah, I would love this. I imagine, hopefully, YouTube always does a great thing of live streaming Coachella.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see LCD Soundsystem play.
Sean, you're making a face.
I am not enthused about that at all.
I just want to, watch the Guns N' Roses live stream to see if there's a fight. I don't like that band.
There's a great chance that he won't show up. He canceled his Jimmy Kimmel performance or appearance.
He's crazy.
Right after that Guns N' Roses news came out.
He is absolutely crazy. I would love to see what happens.
And I've heard from a lot of people he's either really good or he's really bad. So, I don't know. This is the first time people are going to hear Guns N' Roses in a long time. Like the Guns N' Roses they want to hear. So it'll be interesting. I hope they just go out and play a bunch of Chinese Democracy.
All right, well,
that's great.
We'll have to report back when we figure out what happens at Coachella and if these bands suck after getting back together.
I can't imagine LCD Soundsystem will suck getting back together.
No, I couldn't imagine that either.
I would put my money on Guns N' Roses sucking.
I agree. All right, so Tyler, it's a new year. It's a new Tyler Reed. New facial hair, new microphone. Everything's different. Tyler, you wanted to talk about New Year's resolutions?
That's right. Okay, so I would say in the last, maybe few years, 3 years, something like that, I've kind of made it a point to actually come up with a New Year's resolution because I feel like it matters, I guess, is to try to figure out sort of an overarching goal for myself for the year to try to improve myself. It feels a little bit more pointed since I'm artistically inclined because I'm trying to get good. So I want to try to have an objective to try to achieve. I think my New Year's resolution phase kicked off with I am going to be single all year. And so that was like a couple years ago. And so I say that, and then like the actual like context of that is I only want to be in a relationship with someone that I actually am like genuinely attracted to, and not just like a cat. Like I want to be completely into them, because I had just gotten out of a relationship where they were like aggressively pursuing me, and I was just kind of like, okay, sure, why not? And then it ended up going terribly. I'm like, I'm only gonna date someone if I really want to do this. So that kind of started that off, and then from there I kind of started making them more artistically based, like copying more and working smarter was last year. I think I did those both kind of okay. Sean Giggle Party Evans is having a time.
You just like
You are the
unloaded
biggest.
your whole
You are the
closet
biggest
of
piece of crap
skeletons.
in the whole world.
Why? What?
Keep going.
Listen, when someone's like into you, it feels pretty good. And you're like, I mean, I'm like, and then you can't be like, I'm not like also into them, but it's like, it just didn't work out. What? I don't understand why this is. All right, whatever. Do you guys come up with New Year's resolutions? If you do, what are they? If you don't, why not? Go ahead, John.
Okay.
Go ahead, John.
I used to not. It was probably it was my junior year of college that I decided that I was going to actually do one, and it was the year of no ham and pork products, and which is actually kind of challenging. It wasn't really self-help. It was just because I hate pork, and I really wanted to not eat pork, and then I could say, it's a New Year's resolution, so you can't make fun of me and tell me that I can't do this, blah, 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 because my family consumes an insanely high amount of pork products. I don't know. But this year, my resolution, I have two. One is to floss every day, and the other is to meditate for 20 minutes every day, just because my job is kind of stressful, and I think it helps a little bit. So that's it.
Those are both great. Good job.
So,
I was gonna say, you realize bacon's pork, right?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
It was rough. No, what I didn't realize was that how much pork was in pepperoni. Oh man, dude, I ate pizza for like 5 days straight after that. That was a mistake.
Just forget about basically eating breakfast ever.
That's what I mean.
Well,
Right.
Sean doesn't eat breakfast. He just drinks coffee and thinks about his existential crises. So,
Well, there you go.
So I was kind of like you guys. I didn't really do New Year's resolutions for a long time, and then I started doing them like somewhere late college. I don't really remember what my first one was, but my New Year's resolution for this year is very similar to actually Sean and I's New Year's resolution 2013, which is to become
Bring back grunge.
Besides bring back grunge, that's our unofficial life goal.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
No, my resolution is to become a regular somewhere in my neighborhood.
Oh yeah, that is a good one.
Sean and I did that really well when we both lived in Athens for a couple years. We had our couple of places, and we were like staples there. And so since I moved to a new city, I really just want to like get established at a coffee shop or a local pub or somewhere that I can like go once a week and see people that I like and just get away from work and all of that stuff.
Just once a week? You want to be a regular, Taylor?
I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to start at once a week and then go from there. I don't want to make that big of a commitment, Tyler.
Pro tip.
And
just
you would
when they
know that.
Just when they ask for your name, just say Godzilla.
And that's
It
how
works.
people recognize you?
Yeah, they're like, Godzilla, right? I'm like, that's right.
Adam, New Year's resolutions?
Not really. I'm terrible at like keeping goals or actually thinking of goals. And probably sticking to them would be way worse. That's why I have a mean girlfriend that keeps me in line for everything I do. But I thought of one while I was looking at the notes. I was on my Xbox One, and I was trying to figure out what game to play the other day. and I counted my games. I have 168 Xbox One games on my hard drive. So I'm going to stop buying games that I'm never going to play.
That's a great goal.
Yeah.
160 Xbox One games?
168 Xbox, and that's not including Rare Replay that has 30 games in one.
I didn't even think there was that many games even on the Xbox One.
I buy everything. It's bad.
Well, you have a gaming podcast, so...
Yeah, but I don't play the game, so how am I going to talk about them? I can just say I bought them.
I guess that's fair.
Yeah, and a lot of them, it's like 12 months of, you get like 2 free games if you're an Xbox Live Gold member. So some of those count. But yeah, I have so many games I just don't play. So I'm going to stop buying games I'm not going to play.
Good plan.
Try to. Save some money.
I said that last year, and then the Star Wars Humble Bundle came out, and now all of my machines are full of Star Wars games that I haven't played.
Nice.
I mean, that's also okay.
Well, I was like, I'm going to finish L.A. Noire before I buy any more games. I'm still only like maybe 2 hours into L.A. Noire.
Well, Taylor, maybe that's not the game for you. You seem to really like story-driven games, and maybe you just don't have the time or the patience to do long narrative-focused games.
Maybe.
But you also don't have enough time to get good at any single video game ever, so you can't play like Hearthstone, so...
Hey, I'm actually halfway decent in Hearthstone. For a noob. And I taught my roommate how to play Awesome Knots today, thank you.
Well, there you go.
So quit hating. And maybe you should play Monument Valley, since Sean and I both loved it, and you're just throwing shade.
And if I played something, that says a lot.
Right, that's true.
Seriously, Adam, Monument Valley, best mobile game I've ever played.
I'll tell you the best mobile game you'll ever play.
Uh-oh.
Her Story.
I've heard really good things about that.
What is it called?
It's Her Story. It's not the best game ever, but it's like an FMV game with really no game mechanics. You just watch videos of this lady getting interviewed in a police station, and you have to use the police database to search like on keywords that she says to try to figure out why she's there, what she's done, if she's done anything. And it can take you in any direction that you think it can go, I guess. Really cool game. If you're into like murder, like everybody's into Making a Murderer and like the Jinx and Serial podcasts, it's very like, if you're into that kind of stuff, it's up your alley. It's a cool game.
Legit. So, Tyler, did you have another question? Because I have a bonus question for your topic, if you don't mind.
I mean, I do have questions, yes, Taylor.
Well, then go.
I realized I did this, like, literally today, but sorry. All right, cool. Anyway, so have you ever fully followed through with a resolution? If no... Okay, so yeah, we kind of talked about that. Was there anyone that you specifically, like, followed through that you were, like, satisfied with? Or one that you didn't like... Is there, like, any, like, memorable one specifically?
No pork was the one that I did that I followed. Probably everything else ever.
Right. So you really spent an entire year not eating pork?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I would go to the ingredients label and like look at what was in it. Granted, I was dating a vegan at the time, which made it really easy to like. She was already doing this stuff, so I just kind of integrated myself into that. But yeah, it was actually really difficult. Gummy bears. They're made entirely out of pork byproducts. I had no idea that this was a thing.
Huh?
That's depressing.
I feel like that kind of like is outside of like the wheelhouse of like the intent of like of that resolution, but that's okay. I applaud your diligence.
I resolved in 2015 to run a half marathon. That didn't happen.
Yeah.
I've run basically the equivalent distance of a half marathon, but I didn't register and run a race, which was the resolution, and I did not do it. So maybe this year.
Well, to be fair, you did get a new job.
Yeah, I got a new job, and I went to India for 2 weeks, so, I did okay in 2015.
So you could have just made up those resolutions, be like, go to a different country, get a new job, done. Okay, so...
Yeah, I don't know if
go ahead.
I was going to say, like, I don't know if I ever did anyone, but I gave up soda a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
I went like 4 or 5 years without drinking soda, but I have a soda next to me, so I'm not that good at it. But I didn't drink soda forever. But I just drank beer and bourbon.
I mean,
that probably wasn't as good for me anyway. So,
but it's a lot more fun.
I'll take one bad thing out of my life and just replace it with the equal bad. So I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there's like a certain age, like where resolutions actually like make a difference or like matter? Because we all kind of like described that we kind of started them within like basically the last past few years. Is there like a certain like maturity level for it?
I'd
To
say
like actually,
I would say like 38, recently divorced. You should probably get your life together. Maybe a couple of resolutions will help you out. But
right?
I still think we're okay.
For me, it was not being on the school calendar anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, now I'm actually on the January to December calendar, and it feels like I need something to mark the change in the year, which is the main reason why I do it.
It's a good point.
I'm gonna have to agree with Adam there, but it almost gets to the point I feel like some people's New Year's resolutions are like bucket lists. So I think you got to make a distinction there.
And we know how Sean feels about bucket lists.
I got a bunch of them.
Okay. So do we have any resolutions for our podcast? Do we have any goals that we want to set for 2016 for us and also for Adam? Do you want to say anything? Any goals?
I say. I mean, we have a couple things working. This earlier in late 2015, we started expanding. Like, we started bringing more people into what we were doing. We picked up a YouTuber and a live streamer. We have a graphic designer that's working with us, and we're just looking to keep building what we call our brand. Me and Andy are both really busy with work. I go to school full time and work full time. He commutes an hour every day to his job, so we don't really get to do as much as we want to with the podcasts, but we're trying, and we're going to keep. Me and him are both going to work more on the podcast, and eventually we hope to have another podcast under us and maybe do ours less or hand it off to somebody else, and so we don't have to be on it every week. But yeah, that's our resolution. Keep working on that kind of stuff, but we'll see.
So I feel like here in Dudes Brunch Land, each of us has our own resolution for the show this year. We're like going on a full frontal redesign of this show. So Tyler is like melting like a Salvador Dali painting because he's been designing logos all day. So my resolution for Dudes Brunch for this year is to keep the quality of guests consistent.
Sorry about that, guys.
No, you've been wonderful.
I set the low bar, so you guys are good.
But we just had a few too many last minute cancellations and like scheduling changes last year, and so that's partially my fault. I want to like calendar out the guests and the show schedule a little bit better this year and really stay on top of that. I'm also really stoked to start my spinoff podcast because Tyler and Sean already have one, and so we're gonna start. We're going to start Forced Fandom next week, which is where I talk to another person and try and force them to like something I like, and then they get to try and force me to like something that they like. So I'm really stoked to start season 1 of that next week with friend of this show, Emily Bamforth. That's going to be a lot of fun.
For me, going to keep my writing up, keep interesting things going. Kind of sputtered on that. So keeping the blog looking good, and I'm gonna move more to make this show sound good. So I'll be doing a lot of audio editing. Hopefully that won't take up like a super amount of time. And I got a lot of personal things that are coming up, so let's see exactly how that goes. But I'm not gonna give up. So, but some good news on the horizon, hopefully.
Tyler?
Well, really update the quality of art for everything that we do. It's just no, but I'm getting paid a little bit better now at my job, so that's great. So hopefully I can allot myself more time to doing the things that I want to do, and less like asking for money for people. Like, please accept, like, let me do things for you. So hopefully I can kind of just really kind of like push like the visual design of the socials, because like I kind of pushed it out like, what was it, almost a year ago, and I just didn't update it at all. So I think kind of slowly building that up rather than kind of like shotgunning it all in like one session is going to be good. Maybe try to do a little bit more casual updating as we go along, make it evolve a little bit more. So,
dab branding.
Oh, and finish my other spin-off podcast that I do with Sean. So
that you haven't had a new episode of in what, 6 weeks?
Shut the fuck up. We changed formats, okay? We're not using Google Hangouts. I have to listen. There's a whole bunch of things.
Your life is just so hard, Tyler.
Listen, it's as I'm coming to find out, playing games takes time.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, Sean and Tyler have a spin-off podcast called Sean Doesn't Play Video Games, where Tyler teaches Sean how to play video games. They hit a wall when Sean literally couldn't get through the first level of Hotline Miami.
That's a tough game.
Yeah, see, exactly. Stop hating on me.
I wasn't hating.
I wasn't either.
I know you weren't, but the host here,
I wasn't hating.
A little jerk, and he kind of hates on everything.
I've been trying to force myself to play Dark Souls 2, and that's not been fun.
That's
kind
not
of
in
fun.
Our wheelhouse.
It's kind of fun. Well, Hotline Miami gets pretty tough.
Yeah. I got to Smog and Ornstein in the original Dark Souls, and I just couldn't do it. I was on the brink of breaking controllers, so I was like, I'm done. I can't consume this anymore. I'm done.
Well, our motto on our podcast is talk shit about it, even if we haven't played it. So I'm trying.
Great.
We just judge everything, whether we play it or not. So I'm trying to be a little more educated in those types of games, and it's been okay, but it's hard as hell.
We're really just trying. I have to force myself because our game that we've had scheduled for 3 weeks has been Papers, Please, and so I'm just I don't want to fucking play this game because it's gonna make me hurt
and hard.
Right?
Papers, Please is pretty tough too.
Yeah. So
maybe you should stop picking such hard games.
Well, listen, I like playing arcadey roguelike bullshit, and Sean wants to play narrative games, and I'm like, we have to figure out something out. I don't know. We have to find.
I think games should be hard though. If they were easy, they wouldn't be fun to play.
Play a Dark Souls game and tell me that.
Well, we started off with Super Meat Boy, so
Jesus Christ. He's played all the hard games.
This is even throwing me through the gauntlet and not even telling me. He's like, "No, this is the easy stuff, Sean." I'm really worried. Oh God, my hands are cramping, and
To be fair, he was playing on a keyboard. He wasn't playing with a controller, so that also helps. And then we played Fez.
Oh, whatever. It's always my fault. But see, this is what it turns into every week on the show.
Fez is pretty easy, I would say.
Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah, and then Bastion, which was you beat, so you actually beat it, so that's good.
Yeah.
And Hotline Miami, then so we're on Papers, Please.
You should do That Dragon Cancer when it comes out.
Okay.
It's going to be quite legit. This week's Reply All was about it. Definitely check that out. All right, so at this point, it's time to round out the show with everybody's favorite segment. It's called Shameless Plugs. At this point, we're all going to shamelessly plug the stuff that we've been doing inside the podcast and in the rest of our online work. Starting with our guest tonight, Adam, thank you so much for coming on. What do you have to plug?
Just the podcast, I guess. You can find us on iTunes or everywhere, pretty much. 8-Bit Bourbon Podcast. We come out every Wednesday. And also we have our YouTube channel, 8-Bit Bourbon. There we do Let's Plays, video podcasts. And Twitch, we have Dustin Stanton, who does our Twitch for us. That's every Tuesday and Saturday, I think. I think that's just about it. We're everywhere. Just Google 8-Bit Bourbon, and you can find us. And
we'll throw some links down in the show notes so you can hit Adam and his show up. Tyler, shameless plugs from you.
Okay. You can find my work at tylerdreed.com. Do design and illustration. Want a gig poster? Cool. Want a screen printed thing, t-shirt, sticker, whatever? I can help you out. Otherwise, hit me up on Instagram. That's where I've been kind of hanging out the most lately. I've been working on a new D&D themed piece that I've been kind of trying to update every day, kind of trying to spread out the content. So you can find me at TDR Design on Instagram and Twitter.
Can I interrupt you real quick before you go to the next person?
Yeah.
Have you guys had this problem on Instagram? I've gotten like 50 follows in the last like 2 months, are just like chicks that have no followers.
Weird naked people.
Yeah, and they're like click me to like cyber chat. Am I doing something wrong with my life that led me to this, or is it everybody?
No, Instagram is reaching that point.
It's crazy. Like every day.
Yeah.
Every day I'll get like 2 or 3 of them. I'm like, what did I do? What did I click? Okay.
I would say that it's almost a good thing, because that shows that you have at least, like, I think that they only target people that at least have like some amount of followers. So if no one gave a shit about what you were doing, they probably wouldn't like try to get you to follow them or whatever.
Nobody gives a shit about what I'm doing.
Apparently the spammers give a shit about what you're doing.
I have 118 followers. I'm not that popular, and I would say 30 of them are dirty whores.
Oh, throwing shade.
I can call them dirty whores because there's some fat dude behind a keyboard in a different country.
Right, they're not even real.
They're not even real.
They just ripped those images off the internet.
It's every day. Okay, I just want to know if I was the only one. I didn't know if I was doing something wrong. Okay.
Sean, shameless plugs from you.
I think I got a couple articles that are going to come out this week that I've written, or kind of just waiting in the wings to come out. One I've called Intro to Always, which is a Canadian band they'll probably enjoy. And then the other one, which if Tyler would finally get back to me.
Hey, what up?
About his favorite documentary for Dudes Talk Docs, and he would just hurry up and do it. I could publish this thing I've been working on for like 3 weeks.
Just find one about, I don't know.
No, you got to submit it.
Yeah, this has been in the Slack thread for like a month.
Right. I didn't know I had to respond to this. Whatever. I didn't realize it was that pressing. Okay, all right.
But yeah, so I'm working on those. They'll be out this week. Other than that, probably going to be up to more writing, and hopefully you'll hear the results of our first edited audio here pretty soon. So that's pretty much what I'm plugging this week.
Well, cool. So you can follow me on Twitter at TC Olmstead as well as Instagram, but I'm really throwing all of my weight into Snapchat this week. If you're watching on YouTube later in the week, that's my Snap tag. Go ahead and screenshot this, add it, get that shit on your phone. If you're listening to the audio podcast, I'm going to put it in the show notes for you. Snapchat is really interesting me right now, so I'm going all in on the stories. As far as the show, you can follow us on Twitter at Dudes Brunch. You can like us on Facebook, Dudes Brunch Podcast. We would love it if you left us a review on iTunes. That would be very nice. Also, if you're interested in appearing on the show, hit up our website, dudesbrunch.wordpress.com, and hit Submit a Topic. We still have guest slots open for this season, and we would love to have you. Thank you, Adam, for joining us this week.
Thanks so much, guys.
Sean and Tyler, thanks as always, and we'll see you next week for more brunch.
Bye-bye.